afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, from Reno, Nevada. It is the opening night of the High Desert Hustle for my division. Yesterday, they ran every class except the 500s, so we got an opportunity to see what the racetrack looked like. I think we could all agree it was a little rough. I mean, racetrack was literally rough, but it was also very bottom dominant and difficult to pass. So as we're walking up to the track now, we have just about an hour until the pit meeting and they get into the program, but they've already made some major changes to the racing surface. They've taken banking out of the bottom, and it looks like even added some higher up on the track and also created like a little bit of a crease. Basically what the crease is, where the bottom's like kind of flat, and then where it banks up, where that changes is the crease in the surface. And they are still working on forming it right now. Like I said, just about an hour until cars will be getting going, and they're still kind of moving dirt around, which I'm happy to see. I was nervous after yesterday. I knew they were gonna have to make some changes, and all we can do is ask them just to keep putting the best, the most effort out there, and we're gonna put, forth everything we got to put on a show for these great fans. But this is a key night for us. It's an opportunity to run in the top 5, as the top 5 finishers from tonight's main event will not have to run tomorrow, and they lock directly into the Thursday finale. The winner from tonight will basically have a pretty good shot at being on the pole for $10,000. And behind the racetrack here, they have all the winner banners from last year to kind of honor the past champions. Certainly something they didn't have to do. I thought it was kind of a neat touch for the event. And then you can also see the new trophies for this season. I can tell you this, $10,000 is awesome, but imagine having this thing in your race shop. That right there is good motivation to be on top come Thursday. But anyway, we're gonna be getting the night underway. We're gonna be getting our fire suit soon, finish up all the house carts in the 18T, and then before we know it, we'll be getting things fired up and heading out for hot laps and qualifying. So we got all suited up in our factory QRC gear, and we're getting ready to walk in the building to get in the car for hot laps and qualifying. The night was set to get underway, and we just were hoping to get off to a good start, and that is when we ran into a problem. It's not running. So we're all pretty frustrated here after qualifying. We did not get a lap there as the engine would not clean out. It would take off for a second and then it would fall on its face. So we're getting up here on the stand to kind of investigate what's going on. Well, not necessarily the start we were looking for to the weekend. Right now we're being tested. My engine did not run in hot laps, so I didn't hot lap. We fired it up outside. We changed some jetting and whatnot, tried to lean it out. It just seemed really fat. The plug didn't look good. And we fired it up, everything seemed okay. Went back out for qualifying and it did the same thing. It's basically just like, it clears out for a second, get on the throttle, and it's like when it's trying to climb back through the RPMs, it drags the motor down and it sounds like, whoa. I can't even imitate it, but it bogs it down. And I think it's a fuel issue. It seems like, like at some point we're losing fuel, we're not getting it through the system. And anyway, so we're investigating right now, but that is gonna put us in a massive, massive hole to start tonight. I don't know where we're gonna be. I don't think I technically even really got a lap. So anyway, that's how it goes. If you wanna win these races, wanna be up front consistently, you're not always gonna have the smooth path. So we're not getting the smooth path tonight, but we're gonna have to make the most of it. I think our car's really good, even though I haven't really got a chance to feel a lap. Landon, my teammate, looked fast. I think the conditions and everything we're experiencing, like where the track's at right now, very slick. Like it's exactly what I love, and I think it's what we excel in. So we just got to go past cars now. So with qualifying last, we're now going to start last in the heat race, and we got to pull off some sort of magic here to try to gain enough points to put ourselves in a qualifier. Hey guys, good news. We got this thing to run. Well, bad news is I only passed 3 cars there. Just didn't catch a break. Well, looks like they're hosing down the outside of the racetrack as heat races are complete. 8th to 5th there in our heat. Did, you know, a lot of what we could do. Didn't have any yellows. A lot of the heat races had yellows, and of course, in my situation where it would have been nice to maybe have, you know, a pile up or, you know, have an opportunity to go by, it was just a total bottlenecked heat race. 8 laps, kind of just stuck with cars all in front of me. Luckily, I was kind of able to move around and just get a couple cars. Past Carly, she was right ahead of me, and I got her on the last lap out of turn 4. So I think we're done chasing our issues there. The bad news is we're so buried in points. This is a points deal each night. So as far as tonight goes, qualifying almost last, and then, you know, just passing a couple cars in the heat race, we probably would have literally needed to win that heat race to put ourselves in a qualifier. We'll see how things shake out. I'm sure we're going to be deep, though, in the alphabet soup. The racetrack, though, is racing just a tiny bit better. We have a little more real estate to work with. The bottom still seems to be the place to be, but there is kind of a second lane if it stays clean up here. And they're kind of hosing down the top side, too, trying to maybe, you know, keep it a little wet, keep the dust down, and, you know, maybe form something as guys, you know, the more cars that run up there, maybe it will lay rubber in a higher lane. But still, the inside's kind of the place to be, but like I said, at least they're trying things, and I think they're making a few steps in the right direction. But main thing is this racetrack's just so small, and it is actually pretty narrow in spots that it's hard to pass no matter what. And you get going so slow that it's almost like bumper cars, especially on the early laps when everyone's so tight. The main thing we can do right now is just keep focusing on our job next, and realistically just try to gain as much information today that we can use for tomorrow, because we're not in a great spot, but we can get some more laps, work on, you know, kind of maybe trying stuff with our race car and go from there. Like I said, tonight's kind of an R&D night now to try to put ourselves in the best spot for tomorrow. So with how our night is going, we are set up to run an E-main event. Yes, an E-main event. So that's what's coming up next. As I mentioned, just an opportunity for more laps for us to dial in our race car and try to be a little more prepared for the rest of the weekend. Well, just got back to the trailer, changing my street attire. It's really cold here in Reno this time of year, so just trying to stay warm now after the races. Unfortunately, did not transfer there through the E-main event. Started 5th, finished 3rd. We made some changes to the car just to kind of try, and I felt good. I thought I was faster than the cars in front of me. I just don't really know where I was supposed to go. I didn't want to put necessarily my car on the line in the sense of, you know, ramming through for an E-main event, when, you know, the racetrack conditions that we're dealing with where it's just right around the bottom. And the main thing too that I noticed, what was difficult, one thing that was right around the bottom, I kind of started to make this whole second lane work, but the straightaways are where honestly it hurts me the most, because I can't carry a run. All cars are single file. You can't go high, you can't go low. I talked about how narrow they are. So when it's that narrow, like, you have nowhere to take your speed, and that's how you would make passes on a racetrack like this. So that was really, really frustrating. Obviously, I would have liked to transfer through. You never know what kind of super run you could do, but at the same time, we kind of just want to test out our car and focus on tomorrow and save our equipment. I was already on borrowed time because I missed that wreck on the first lap of the E. I still don't have any idea how I missed it. All in all, though, glad that the car is in one piece and we can kind of just focus on tomorrow. I really hope they keep working on the track. I know I talked about maybe, you know, they're taking steps in the right direction, and it's just still tough with this dirt and the material, and it's kind of the same story. But I mean, like I said, even in that situation with how fast now it is, because now it has laid rubber, you can't do anything. You can't unless someone makes a massive mistake. But like I mentioned, it's still too narrow in spots, so even when guys make mistakes or when guys crash, the crashes get worse or the chaos gets added to just because of the layout of the surface. So I wish there was a way they could kind of change that. I think that would make a huge, huge difference in a lot of ways, but that's just my personal opinion. So anyway, our night is complete here at the High Desert Hustle. We're gonna pull a tear off and move on to what's next.